For the vast majority, the piece of history they are familiar Tupac and Big Deal is completely about how they were at one another's throat. Yet in a similar history books, Mark and Big Deal weren't only two artists from inverse sides of town, they were likewise very dear companions. I know how it sounds. And I know the way that they're both no longer with us energizes your questions, yet truth be told, new subtleties have now come up on how the pair had been cooking their own leave plans under the table, up and down, that is correct foes in the day to individuals and relaxed colleagues in private, as per the new subtleties. In addition to the fact that it is evident that they were both set up, it seems like they had a ton stowed away from the world. Yet those days are over now. I know with what you've heard you presumably need the whole story, so remain tuned till the end. Thus we had spent various times around one another, preceding everything becoming what it wound up, becoming from confided in companions to mortal foes. Basically, that is precisely exact thing the world has accepted such a long time. Yet truly the narrative of Tupac Shakur and the famous Hughes Fellowship goes far past East Coast versus West Coast hamburger Tupac and Big Deal previously went over one another in Los Angeles back in 1993. Biggie, the Brooklyn-bred rapper, requested that his companion acquaint him with Tupac, who then, at that point, welcomed Big Deal to a party at his home, that is where they shared a major cooler sack of the greenest vegetables. I'd at any point seen by Dan Smalls, an assistant at Big Deal's Mark. At the time, likewise, part of the gathering during their most memorable experience. Tupac was at that point a gigantic star selling platinum collections, and featuring in films. Mickey then again was toward the beginning of his vocation, sitting tight for his enormous break Tupac needed to assist his new companion with his profession. And he drove him into a circle needed to be in hooligan life and pop, belief that him should be a piece of hooligan life, even Tupac's long-lasting companion Dy1ng conceded we as a whole suspected he Big Deal was a moron rapper. The matches appeared to have framed a fraternity as Tupac gifted a container of Hennessy to Big Deal not long after they began hanging out, and they had an apparently solid kinship. To put it delicately, Biggie passed out on Tupac's lounge chair when he came to California, and at whatever point Tupac was in New York, he picked Biggie up in a white limousine. As a matter of fact, at some point in 1993, both of them freestyled consecutive at a show at Madison Square Nursery. Despite the fact that he got to make an appearance at the show, Big Deal was still generally obscure beyond Brooklyn Tupac. Then again, was very famous at that point. Yet he would constantly focus on Big Deal preparing him and permitting him to perform at his shows. He should be a piece of hooligan life, right? Definitely, without a doubt. Again. We got a chance to meet large. We went on visit. And Tupac said, I prepared that he used to be under me like my lieutenant. Tupac likewise professed to be the minds behind Big Deal's style. I used to tell thee, if you have any desire to bring in your cash you need to rap for them, don't rap for the. Tupac proceeded to say the will purchase your records. And the need. Biggie accepted Tupac's recommendation after his initial forceful track party and underscore. Tunes like Huge Dad from his presentation collection, prepared to kick the bucket, pursued more to the ladies. Soon as he purchased that wine, I simply creep up from behind and ask what your inclinations are, so you be with. Yet before prepared to bite the dust, came out Big Deal, with stress that he missed his break. This likewise turned out to be around the time Large met the individual that shifted the whole direction of his life. Seen Puffy Brushes. The team initially met in 1992, when Diddy organized to meet with Biggie in the wake of seeing his component in the Source magazine's unsigned promotion segment. As per subtleties, while conversing with Revolt about individual rapper, Diddy reviewed, whenever I first met Enormous, I carried him to a Southern Fare cafe called Sylvia's Uptown in Harlem. I recall him plunking down, and he truly had nothing to say. So you have this enormous person who has this in front of you rap demeanor, yet hushed up. He likewise didn't have any desire to eat with Diddy, making sense of I understood. That is the way enormous this second was for him. This was actually his fantasy. He was unable to try and eat he simply needed for this to truly occur. And it happened it was each of the fantasy subsequent to skirting Tupac's mast with life name, to sign with Diddy's terrible Kid Records Biggie, dropped his introduction collection, prepared to bite the dust in 1994. At the time Puffy's name had it truly taken off, and as you'd expect Big Deal was really stressed over his venture slumping, which takes us back to Puck. He didn't need enormous putting a lot of material out before he began putting his __. Out so you see to take over as his supervisor, yet Shacker's reaction was nah, stay with Puff. He will make you a star, much to their dismay. Puff was looking for trouble, and that their companionship would before long reach a conclusion. Not long after all that passed Tupac and Big Deal had quite possibly of the greatest aftermath in media outlets. And think about who was at the focal point. All things considered, in all honesty, the unparalleled Diddy, he's a duh. And Big Deal came up to the room man. And you so he was hella cool brother. I recollect him resembling genuine rational, other than constraining Big Deal to change his sound, such that the rapper wasn't good. With there are additionally reports that the record leader could have likewise physically attacked Big Deal. And no, I'm not discussing some arbitrary web bluster. These subtleties truly came from an unsurpassed OG of the rap world, DMX. He said he didn't place him in suits, and made them cause them to compose verses for himself, and took all their distributing and assaulted him like Danwell, the genuine beginning of their hamburger. Is really easy to refute Scar and large yet that didn't become official until when the Dear Mother MC delivered the hit M Up diss track in 1996, where he energetically communicated his disdain for the famous large deal. Minimize the circumstance, Tupac did the contrary. He kept on destroying his kindred rapper. In addition to the fact that Tupac accused Big Deal of the shooting, he guaranteed that Biggie additionally ripped off his style on the off chance that things couldn't deteriorate. Puck gloated about laying down with Big Deal's significant other Confidence Evans. Naturally, Big Sponge disagreed with the punches and needed a counterback, yet, as per Lil, stopped the succulent rapper, hindered on their arrangements at the absolute starting point. Enormous didn't rush in and make a diss track he resembled. Nah, he told Chunky Man Scoop during an Instagram live meeting. He told everyone on the off chance that you make a record, I'm not effing with you, don't call me, don't F with me. On the off chance that you answer anything, you will be cut off. At the time, Tupac had been imprisoned, and during his sentence, he figured out how to hammer out an agreement with Suge Knight, somebody you could say turned into Pup's main foe. Soon after, Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac love me, I love him too. Positive Death Row. To the powerful Shook accomplished other things than simply attempt to enroll Tupac. He offered him a spot in his family, the most remarkable family in hip jump. In August 1995, Tupac was still in jail when Shook stayed with him again. Just after, should advance toward Madison Square Nursery's Central Performance Center for the yearly honor show put on by the Sorsa Hit Bounce magazine. During his acknowledgement discourse, he tossed a little shade at Scene Puffy Brushes, the head of